Skip Bayless, it was one of the most exciting times I've ever had watching baseball.
I agree.
I dozed off, woke up, came back. Then I couldn't sleep. It was 4 hours, 45 minutes. I got to admit, I love these Royals, man. I love their guts from Hosmer to Kane. I mean, even the double by Kane early on to tie the score at 2-2. You know, he singled later. You look at him. You look at Hosmer. The only thing that threatened to ruin everything, I thought the game was over. I actually tweeted it was over once Brandon Moss just went berserk, hit 2 home runs last night, smacked that 3-run homer off of Ventura. I looked at Yost, this manager for the Kansas City Royals, and I said, he should be. I usually don't do that. He should be fired. I can't believe
he should have been fired on the spot.
I'm saying he should have been fired. If Kansas City had lost this game last night, he should have been fired before he got an opportunity to leave the stadium, because I could not believe that you're going to sit there. This kid is essentially a rookie. He's 21 years of age, okay? I mean, damn near out of high school, for crying out loud. I mean, and I don't know, he's a starter. He didn't do any work in the bullpen. I mean, he had one performance earlier in the season, and this guy, just decides to put him in the game. And I'm like, could you not, would it really hurt you to put Herrera in just a little bit earlier? I mean, it was just such a ridiculous and an egregious decision. I thought that he almost blew this game, but it just showed me a lot of guts. Remember, they led the league with 153 stolen bases during the season. They had 7 last night because Soto, the catcher for the A's, went out in the first inning. In the first inning. And by the way, he only played 14 games this year.
But he brought out almost half his runners.
Right. But exactly, he's thrown out 9 of 17 runners. I think it was 9 of 17 he threw out this year. But my point is, he only played for you 14 games, but that's how concerned you were about Kansas City's running game, because you wanted to make sure that this dude was in the game to throw them out, because you had to keep them off the bases. Once he went down in the first inning, I said, oh, this is exactly what I was talking about. They led the league in stolen bases. They led the league in the least amount of strikeouts this season. They're going to attack. They're going to get on base. But I was just shocked when they were down 7-3, the level of guts that they showed all the way around. And this kid Finnegan comes in the game. He was spectacular. I mean, it was something special to watch. And I'm just looking at them right now. I'm just loving this team. I got to admit, if they end up winning, it's not going to bother me, because that crowd seemed to go from the football game Monday night to the stadium, the baseball stadium last night. And it was special to watch. It was special to watch. I loved every moment of it, and it was beautiful. And by the way, at some point in time, your boy Billy Bean, you really gonna have to win some postseasons.
I'm about to address.
And it's on Melvin. And it's on Melvin. I know more on Melvin than Billy Bean. But come on now, you got to win something. Go ahead, though. Kansas City special.
Before I rant over here, and by the way, I would have made the same pick again at 100 times out of 100. Okay. I want to congratulate the Royals fans. I was there in that ballpark in 1985, the last time they were even in the playoffs, when they won Game 7 of that World Series. And I'm with you.
Beautiful to see George Brett there, too.
You could argue, even though this was sort of a play-in kind of a playoff game, this is about as good as it's ever been. I'm not sure you can find a better playoff game than that one. I covered several of Billy Bean's teams. I got to know him very well. We did have our battles, but I love this man. And Brad Pitt played him in the motion picture called Moneyball, just for the record.
I watched it.
In my career, I have never been around a human who took losing harder than Billy Bean takes losing. Trust me on this.
It's miserable today.
This had to be as devastated as this man has ever been in his career, because he just fell to 0-7 lifetime in win-or-go-home games in the postseason. 0-7. So you're right. But I must admit, when he pulled off the trade from the Boston Red Sox for John Lester, I immediately tweeted, Billy Bean just won his first World Series. Now, I love the guy, so my heart, I told you yesterday, I'm picking with my heart. But when you can put John Lester on top of Samardzija and what you already had there in Sonny Gray and Kazmir, I said, that's a World Series kind of rotation. And they were obviously the hottest hitting team in baseball at that point, and they fell right in the toilet. But that's a whole, they still made the playoffs, and I thought, okay, they're going to figure it back out, and they did. Brandon Moss, right away, 2-run homer in the first inning off big game James Shields, and it's 2-0. You have staked John Lester to a 2-0 lead. And then they bounce right back in the 6th, and they give John Lester a 7-3 lead in the 6th inning. This is a man in his career who is 85-1 with a 3 or more run lead in his career. This man has the 3rd best postseason ERA in the history of baseball with pitchers with 10 or more starts. That's pretty good. 1.97 in the postseason.
No question.
He has dominated the Kansas City Royals throughout his career. He was 3-0 against this same team this year, and he's got a 7-3 lead. And he spits the bit? Yeah. He coughed it up? Are you kidding me? And I do not blame Bob Melvin for sticking with him till death did them part, because I would have too. It's John Lester. Yeah. And I'm now convinced John Lester's heart wasn't really in this.
Well,
his heart's still at Fenway Park. What's that?
No, I said to you yesterday, he's just a mercenary. He's just there for the season.
Well,
he's out.
Some guys are good mercenaries. Yeah. Some guys you just throw a uniform on them and they'll go out because it's just all about them. Like, I'm going to go pitch. I'm CC and I'm going to go do this.
With Milwaukee. Yeah.
Okay, you got that. Yep. But in this case, he's a Boston Red Sox through and through his heart. And I don't think wearing green and gold last night, he viewed himself as John Lester anymore, because a 7-3 lead, I don't care what park you're in. I don't care how many bases they steal. He was dominating them until all of a sudden, the 8th inning, boom, boom. It's impossible. This cannot be happening. And Stephen A., I take nothing away from the Royals. They would not die. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. They would not die. And remember, the A's in the top of the 12th went ahead. They scored a run. Yeah. They go up by 1. What was it, 8-7 at that point? And bottom 12, boom, boom, boom. They came right back again, and they win it 9-8. It's impossible what they did. God bless you, and God bless Billy Beane today, because he's in a bad place.